It's product review time again, and today we're going to be taking a look at... let's zoom out. Oh, that's, Oh, that's not worked. That's better. Look, can actually see it now. I've got myself a new toolbox. Let's have a look, shall we? Wait, hang on, I've already done this bit. Fuck. So, I've got myself a new toolbox. Now, I do have several toolboxes. I bought 3 of the same toolbox and did a product review video on those as well. But this one is special. 1, because it's the biggest toolbox I own, and 2, I bought it for a specific purpose. This is going to be my car toolbox. Now, it is quite big to be carting around in a car, but that's not quite what it's for. Anyone who follows along with the channel will know I have quite a few project cars on the go. And you may have noticed I therefore have quite a few tools for working on those project cars. Now, those tools at the moment are fucking all over the place. They're in my porch, they're in the cars, there's some just behind the camera, on the dining room table. They're just strewn everywhere. I don't have anywhere to really keep them. I could go and put them in the shed, but the shed's in a bit of a state at the moment. It's letting water in, and I don't really want my tools in there getting all rusty and crusty. So they're being kept in the house, but I don't really have anywhere to keep them. I did think about putting them on this shelving that you see on either side of the shot. This is my hobby corner. I've got my shooting gear over here to the left, and my camera gear over here, and printers and various. I have a lot of hobbies on the go. But it's not the most convenient spot to be going in and out of the house when I want to work on the car. I need to be able to get my tools out there. So we've bought this. Now, I've been looking for a toolbox of this sort of style for a while. I did want one of the sort of snap-on style ones that you can wheel around. It's got all the drawers on. They are really expensive. Even the unbranded, like, stores own ones, like the Halfords ones, are a fucking lot of money. And if I'm honest, they wouldn't be all that convenient. I can't leave them outside because they'll just get full of water and rust and then probably get stolen. I mean, they're obviously expensive. Everyone knows there's valuable things in it. And then, but I also couldn't be fucked to wheel them up and down. There's a step as you come into my house, so that's not going to work. So I settled on this sort of design. But again, these are generally quite expensive until I saw this one. I got this from Homebase in Newmarket. It was £35, which was a little more than I wanted to spend on a plastic toolbox. I was hoping to spend sort of 25, maybe 30 as an upper limit, ideally more like 20 quid. But I've been looking for ages and I couldn't find out, and I saw this. There was another one made by Stanley. This is obviously Black & Decker. That was 45 though. It was a little bit bigger, but it didn't. I couldn't justify that level of expense. Money's pretty tight at the moment because, well, the Bank of England thinks that the correct response to a cost of living crisis is to jack everyone's mortgages and rent up to sky-high levels. And then the government thinks that the correct response to that is to then jack up taxes and energy bills on top of it. Because the correct response to a crisis in your country is to make it worse when you're in government. Yeah, whatever. That's a rant for another day. Actually, that's a rant for right fucking now, but a rant for another video. Wankers. Fucking Tory millionaire cunts. Anywho, so yeah, we've got this. It was £35 from Homebase. Let's have a bit of a closer look at it, shall we? Okay, so you're going to see my fat arse in shot. I want to do a bit of a closer look. Let's bring that a bit closer. Right, so this is it's a 2-tier toolbox. Now, it's just like anything. As you can see, it's got the wheels on the side, and what you get is this handle comes up here, like that. These things lock it in place, and then you can wheel it backwards and forwards, and the wheels move independently, so you can turn it around. Curious pug not included. Now that handle it's quite sturdy. When it locks upright like that, there's no real movement in it. I mean, I can bend it a bit if I press on it, but that's okay. Now, well, that's a bit of an issue. On the underside here, there's yeah, 3 sharp bits of plastic. Actually, I noticed these in the shop. I may just file those down. We'll get a picture of them a bit later. But they're just manufacturing things. But if you're moving it along, they're not uncomfortable. They're not going to cut into me, even if I press quite hard on them. It's just a sharp scratch. But yeah, I think we'll file that down. And then to put this handle back down, you have to squeeze these tabs in. They're reasonably easy to do. Just squeeze them in and flop it back down, and then you bring it back up. You don't have to squeeze them to bring it back up, and they just sort of hold it in place. It won't move that much on its own. Or if you want to pick the whole thing up, you've just got that handle there, like that. Here we have 2 little pockets, or doobadoos. There was a picture. Where does it show it? That picture it shows us putting our little sockets in there. Yeah, that might well end up being what they're for. Yeah, I haven't brought my tools in yet and started putting them in. So yeah, that's the top. My partner, whilst I was getting it in the shop, did helpfully point out that it doesn't have a cup holder. That's fine. My thermos cup that I normally use when working on the car, I just normally poke it in some part of the engine bay, and that'll be fine. But yeah, no cup holder. Bit of a downside. Never mind. So, and then on the front we've got you've got a little doobly-doo here for padlocking it, which, yeah, I get, you know, you may want to padlock your tools if you have to leave them, but this bottom bit isn't padlocked. So, and the bottom bit I would imagine is where you're going to keep your power tools. But whatever, it's a nice touch anyway. And then you've got these 2 metal clasps to undo it with. Lovely. And lift the lid. Inside is just fairly standard toolbox stuff. You have your tray that lifts out. Just about every toolbox I own has one of those in some form or another. And then inside, going forward, it's just a box. Reasonably deep box, even with this inside it. Yeah, so it's more or less flush with the top, so you're losing about that much off it. But that's okay. Close that top bit. Now, one bit that I did like, and this helped sell me on this over the more expensive one by Stanley, even though overall it's smaller. The Stanley one was in 3 pieces, so this is just a top and a bottom half. The Stanley one had a big bucket at the top, and then like one half the size of that, then another toolbox on top. So you had a bit more storage space, but I did like this. Like, you press that in there, and that rotates around. Right, Muffin. And it does a full 180. There's a sort of click there as you bring it round, just like that. And yeah, you've got storage there, and it ends so you can't get, nothing's going to get stuck underneath it. Once you pull it all the way out, you have full access to every compartment. Yeah, you can put, well, if you were using this for some sort of trade, you would put screws and other small bits, nails and bolts and such like in there. I'll probably use some of this for holding small car parts, like little screws that I've taken out of stuff, spark plugs I suppose would fit in there and such like, and any other like little tooly bits and there. But yeah, I just really liked the way that rotated outwards, and as they go in, there's almost no clearance between these and the top of the box, so when they're pressed in, and it clicks closed as well, look, like that. Whatever you've got in there, you know is going to be secure. It's not going to be falling out into the rest of the box. So yeah, that pretty much sold it to me. Did that thing. Another bit of a quality issue there. I don't know if you can see that. It's just a manufacturing mark. It's obviously injection molded plastic, but that could have been sanded down a bit better, or they could have injected it from the bottom perhaps, so we don't have to see that. But again, it's a toolbox, it's not going to stay pristine, so it's not an issue for me. I'm not taking it back. What is it, Muffin? What are you doing? Alright, I'll stroke you. You're ruining my bloody video. Eh? Good girl. Alright. Go over there for me. Go on. Pugs are quite stubborn. Right, so that's the top half. Now to undo the bottom half, you undo these clasps. Right now, dog. Get that way. Like that, and they just hang free, and then this whole thing just lifts off. That's what you have in the bottom. It's just a box, much deeper than the other one, which is good. And you can see, you can tell there how much, so that much slots in, and you can see along here where it sits. So you've got that much storage left, and you can put some large tools in there as well. Now, I wonder, does... Oh no, that would have been too good to be true. Universal fit or whatever. So yeah, that is the toolbox. In these videos, well, I probably do talk too much, so I have a bit of a propensity for verbosity. There's really not much to say about them. I'm basically reviewing a box, but I kind of like this one. The wheels on it feel, yeah, they're quite sturdy. I wheeled it all the way around the shop because I was looking for a draft excluder. That's the main reason I went in. I wasn't planning on buying a new toolbox, but here we are. But yeah, the wheels, if I press down on them, they feel quite sturdy as well. I wheeled it all the way around the shop making lots of noise, but I didn't hear any unfortunate noises from the wheels. They weren't squeaking or rattling. It was just the noise of someone rattling an empty plastic box around a shop. So yeah, that's about all we can say about that. Yeah, the wheels, they're not rubber. They're some sort of rubberized plastic, so they will give you some grip, but I mean, you don't really need traction, do you? You're just going to wheel it along behind you. So yeah, that's not really much of an issue. That folds down. Yeah, that's all there is to say about it. There was a few areas of concern. The two on the shelf in the shop were broken. One of them, this latch was broke, and the other, the entire bottom box was smashed to bits. I actually fished this one off the top stock, which there was a sign telling me not to do it, but fuck it, I'm a bit of a rebel. So I fished this one down. It's in, yeah, pretty good nick. I mean, the others, I don't think they were broken because of any particular quality issue. I think maybe they've just been knocked about roughly by customers or staff or in transport. They got broke or whatever, you know. But yeah, this one seems pretty good. Yeah, nice little Black & Decker rubber sticker there. There's some strange marks along the top, almost like scratches, which I think where it's just been handled and played around with before being put away. It does seem like you can scratch this a little bit too easily. Yes, if you run your finger along this plastic, that's just far too easy to scratch. I mean, it's not an issue, like I say, it's not going to stay pristine, it's a working toolbox, but yeah, there's all scratches around here, which is a bit disappointing, but never mind. Alright, let's go and get some tools and we'll see how good it is at actually storing stuff, shall we? Shall we do that, Muffin? Shall we? Come on then. Come on then, go. Right, here we go. Oh, I'll step over here. So I've gone and got all of my tools in from the car. What, cars? Oh, wait. I've got all my tools in from one of the project cars, but I'm just remembering now that there are more tools in one of my other project cars, which I probably should have brought in as well. Maybe I should go get those. Yeah, let's go do that. Right, never mind. Now I feel even more stupid. Went out to the other project car and there's no tools in it, because as I've been working on one of my other cars, I sort of slowly moved the tools across as and when I needed them. So I've just gone back out into the freezing cold for no fucking reason at all. So, anyway, yeah, we've got, well, there was something in the other car. It was a battery charger, which I'm not going to be keeping in here because I thought it's too big and it doesn't need to be in here. Anywho, so what we are going to do is we're going to yeah, slowly go through this lot. This isn't all of my tools. I have some tools which are just for, say, like woodwork, tools that are just for use around the house. But they're in other places, so yeah, they don't need to be here. This is just that stuff that's for my cars, and I'm also leaving out tools that overlap that can be used for both because they're strewn around all over the place and I can't be bothered to go get them. So this is just a selection of car stuff. Most of it was in one of my project cars, some of it was in the porch, and my partner was having a go at me every day because it was like a scene from Total fucking Wipeout coming into our house and leaving the house because you had to stand over all my shite. Anywho, I'm getting off topic. So we're just gonna crack open the toolbox. Oh, make old man noises all the way, and we'll see what we can get in, and we'll see how well things fit. And yeah, I mean, obviously all of this is going to go in here. There's not actually that much here, but I want to see how convenient it is, how useful this little spinny tray is. What can I actually get in there? Because as cool as it is, it may not be the most practical thing in the world. Yeah, let's just have a go at it and see what we can do. There's a few car parts in here as well and such like. So yeah, all right, let's get on with it then. Oh. bring you guys in for a closer look and you'll see how this is doing. Right, there we are. We are done with it. So far, we haven't used these little flip-up things. I haven't really found out to go in them yet. We're not quite done with all this. See, they're empty. I did think about putting my sockets in those, but at the moment they're quite well stored in their little case. But that is an option. It is plenty deep enough, as you can see, for storing things like that. The problem is then they're just going to be loose and rattling around, whereas at the moment they're in their case, so they're all in size order, which appeals to my nature. So I'll open it up, which is nice and easy to do. These have these little rubber doobie-doos on, so you can just come up and with one finger just flick it up and it comes straight off and you're good to go. So there we go. So we've got our tools in the top, and yeah, it's actually, it doesn't look like much, but this is actually quite useful for, look, I can just pile so many tools in this. This isn't even half of what I use. So yeah, that's quite, I like that. What I may do as well is, if I do start putting more and more stuff in here, if I can find a way of having my sockets organised, either in this tray or some other way, so they're not loose and rattling around, there's ample room for more stuff in here for the actual ratchets to go in the top. You know, I've got this full of cable ties, parts, and a tester there, but there's still plenty of room in there. This is a really good tray for storing multiple small hand tools. Move that out. Underneath, yeah, so that's my granddad's spanner set, nicely stored in there. My screwdriver bits, and there's my sockets. See what I mean? They're nice and neatly organised in their case at the moment, whereas if I put them in there, they're just going to be loose and rattling around, which I don't want to do. But yeah, if I can find a way of keeping them organised in this box, that case can go. This one will stay. That's a nice steel case, but that plastic carry case, look, that can go. Of course, oil filter removal tool. Actually, that can go in the bottom bit that's hardly ever used. Put that back. Put those back together. Again, one-handed operation, which is nice. Right. And then we haven't actually put much in here, but so put my pipe clamps in, and then my little bit of wire there, which I use for testing various electrical stuff. Muffin's back. Where's it, Muffin? What am I doing? He's a good girl. Right, anyway, put them in there. Let's undo this. Oh, Watcher, what are we doing, little man? Oh, are you getting in on the video? Are we? Anyway, go on. Run along, lad. Alright, let's have a quick look at the bottom. Oh, that's heavy. As you can see, down the bottom, I've put some of my larger items. This is a soldering kit. There's 2 soldering irons plus consumables in there. Larger work lamp, and then other consumables, bottles, and some more of my lesser used tools down the bottom. You know, things like spark plug testers and spark plug removal kits. And we'll put the oil filter removal tool down there as well. Oh, Archer, again! What are we doing, lad? You've been somewhat disruptive right now, boy. Go on, get out of the way. Right. Go on, shoo. Yeah, I put some of my lesser tools down there. Well, not lesser tools, lesser used tools, because I don't need them to be in the top box always to hand. The frequency with which these things get used, especially like this, it's no inconvenience whatsoever to have to reach into the bottom half of the box. But at least everything is still there with me. I'll put that back. Go on, get back on. There we go. I made a bit of a meal of that, but it's actually a lot easier to do when you're not holding the camera. Right, and the last thing, we need to test how it wheels. Well, actually, that feels quite good. There's no flex in that handle. I'm not straining the box to lift the whole lot up. Yeah, and that still wheels along quite nicely. I can wheel that through. Doesn't feel like I'm moving any particular weight either. I mean, I've still got a fair bit more that could go in this, but I'm not going to do that now. Yeah, that feels very smooth being wheeled along like that. I like that. This is going to be a very useful thing to have. A great purchase. Yeah. Happy with that. Very much so. Right, so we're going to call that it. That concludes the review of the, well, it doesn't actually have a name, this. It's just a Black & Decker wheelie toolbox. Yeah. But I mean, it's still reasonably distinctive, so if you see this product when you're out and about, I got this from Homebase, but obviously other places are available where you can pick this sort of thing up. Yeah, if you see it and you're thinking about it, it has my recommendation. I'm happy with it. I know I had a few complaints about the finish on this plastic up here. It seems easily scratched, but so what? You know, it's a good sturdy product, and I'm very confident I'm going to have this for a good long time. So yeah, we shall call that it, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching this video on Pidini doing stuff and filming it. Please don't forget to press the big button here in the middle to subscribe if you haven't already done so. If you liked what you just saw, please click the like button below and leave a comment letting me know what you liked about it. And as always, thank you for watching.